14 says, "For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses." That's one of the best statements in the Bible. We don't have a high priest who cannot. In other words, we have a high priest who can sympathize with our weaknesses, but was in all points tempted as we are. Notice all. Every place you've been tempted, he was tempted. Yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace. Notice it's not called a throne of judgment. A lot of people talk about the judgment throne. To the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. All right, I asked you a moment ago, any of you ever been tempted? Got 100%. Anybody here ever had a need? You ever had a need? Okay. Guess what? You can come to the throne of grace in time of need. That's what this says. But now here's the great thing. I want you to catch this. It is a throne of grace. It is a throne of mercy. It's a throne of sympathy. Someone who can sympathize with you. If you know, let's say you have had cancer or something, you've had to go through chemo and radiation, and you're talking with some people, and in the talking, someone says, "I had that." Immediately, there's a connection. When did you have it? Did you have to do that? Yes, I had to do that too. Did it make you sick? Yes, it made me. See what I'm saying? There's a sympathy. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. When you go to the throne of grace, you say, "Today I was tempted by something. I was tempted." And you know what the Lord says? "I've had that. I was tempted by it. I was tempted too." Are you following me? Yes. See, the reason that it's a throne of grace, boy, if you don't catch this, I'm going to be upset with you, okay? The reason that it's a throne of grace is because the one sitting on it has been a human being, and he understands. He understands. Now, let me tell you something else. Boy, please catch this. You're not as bad as you think you are. You're not. The devil wants to make you think, "Well, you're bad and you're horrible and nobody else at the church does this. You're the worst one. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even come and sit with these holy people." Listen to me, when you go to the throne, there's not judgment and criticism coming from it. There's sympathy, because the human sitting on the throne, because he's been a human, the one sitting on the throne says, "I know what it's like to live in a fallen world and have demons chasing you every day. And you're doing better than you think you are, buddy." That's good news, isn't it? He's a wonderful high priest. All right, so he became a carpenter. He became a person. So we could identify with him. All right, so let me tell you some things that he understands, okay? Three biggies in our life. Number one, Jesus understands relationships. He understands relationships. Mark 6, verse 3, if you've got a marker and you just flip real quickly. Mark 6, verse 3 says, "Is this not the carpenter, the son of Mary?" By the way, I want to go back to why he's called the son of Mary, not the son of Joseph, because that's very unusual in biblical terms unless something has happened. So I'll give you a little clue there. The son of Mary and brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon, that's 4 brothers, are not his sisters, plural, here with us. Okay, so he had 4 brothers and at least 2 sisters. So he had brothers and sisters. Now you know that they got along perfectly. Because you have children, and you know children get along perfectly. That's just the nature of children, right? No, he understands what it's like to have a brother duct tape you to the bed. I mean, he understands that. Whatever it was back then that they used, he understands. He understands what it's like to have a brother or sister jealous of you or envious of you, upset at you, angry, misunderstand. He understands. He understands what it's like to grow up in a family and do chores. He understands. There's nothing that you could talk to him about that he doesn't understand. He understands. He knows what it's like to have friends. Mary, Martha, Lazarus, close friends. Lazarus dies. Jesus doesn't come. He waits 2 days. Then when he does come, Mary and Martha say the same thing to him. Remember this? Lord, if you had been here, he wouldn't have died. Now that's the way we read it. Lord, if you'd been here, they wouldn't have died. It's possible. What if they said it like this? You know, if you'd been here, we know that you didn't come as soon as you got word. If you'd been here, he wouldn't have died. He knows. He knows what it's like to have your closest friends leave you when you need them the most. Here's one that we might be able to relate to. He knows what it's like to be betrayed. So here's my question for you. It's real simple. When are you going to talk to him about your family problems? Because he understands. When are you going to talk to him about your relationship problems? When are you going to talk to him about your problems with your friends? When are you going to talk to him about how you felt when you were betrayed? Because Jesus understands. He understands. Here's a second point he understands. Jesus understands work. Work. He was a carpenter. He was a carpenter. So you always see all these pictures of him. He looks like an angel, got the white robe and all that stuff on. I want to see a picture of him in jeans, a T-shirt, and a tool belt. Because that's what he looked like longer than the white robe. You understand that, don't you? He was a carpenter longer than he was a preacher. He was in the marketplace longer than he was in the ministry. He was in the ministry 3 years. He didn't enter ministry until he was 30. He probably began working in his father's carpenter shop when he was 12. 18 years he worked as a carpenter. And I don't want to take anything away from modern day carpenters, all right? But I just want you to know, he didn't have a nail gun and a power saw. When he drove a nail, he drove the nail. When he cut a board, he cut the board. I remember one time I was trying to cut a board, power saw, and power saw broke. I thought, how am I going to cut this board? I only have to cut one board, you know. I just got to cut this one board. And I looked up, there's a long thing with a handle and teeth on it, and I thought that might